Medicine, a
Medicines.
substance, especially in the form of a liquid or pill, that is a treatment for illness or injury.
A, sub- a substance, especially in form of a liquid or a pill, that is treatment for illness or injury.
I've got a fever, so I need to take some medicine.
I've got a fever, so I need to take
Examine,
medicines.
to look at
Examine.
or consider a person or thing carefully and in detail in order to discover something about them.
To look at or consider a person who think carefully and in detail in order to discover something about them.
The research examined the effect of alcohol on long-term memory.
The research examined the effects of alcohol on long-term memory.
Vomit.
Vomit.
The contents of your stomach has come up through your mouth.
The contents of your stomach that have come up through your
He's been
mouth.
vomiting all night after drinking too much alcohol.
He's been vomiting all night after drinking too much alcohol.
Terrible. Very
Terrible.
unpleasant or serious or bad.
Very unpleasant or
My mom
severe or
was a
bad.
terrible cook.
My mother was a terrible cook.
Get rid of something or somebody.
Get rid of something of
To remove something
somebody.
that you don't want any longer, or to find a way to make someone leave because you do not want the person to be with you anymore.
To remove something that you do not want any longer or to find a way to make someone leave because you don't want the person to be with you any longer.
We finally got rid of my little sister by telling her scary stories.
We finally get rid of my little sister by telling her scary story.
Walk out of something.
Work out
To leave
something.
an event, such as a meeting or a performance, because you're unhappy, angry, or disapprove of something.
To
All the parents
to leave an event such as a meeting or performance because you are unhappy, angry, or disapprove of something.
walked out of the meeting.
All the parents walked out of the meeting.
On call room.
On call room.
If a worker, such as a doctor, is in the on-call room, he or she is available to work or make official visit at any time when needed. She is a doctor.
If a worker, such as a doctor, is on call, he or she is available to work or make official visits at any time when needed.
So she often works overtime in
She's a doctor, so she often works overtime in the on-call room at the
the
weekend.
on-call room at the weekend. Situation. The
Situation.
set of things that are happening and the condition that exist at a particular time and place.
The set of things that are happening and the conditions that exist at a particular time and place.
My sister has a good situation as a teacher in the local school.
My sister has good situation as a teacher in the local school.
Something feels terrible because of the seafood.
Something feels terrible because of seafood.
He vomits many times.
He vomits many times.
He wanted to get rid of the situation, so he called the nurses.
He wants to get rid of the situation, so he calls the nurses.
Unfortunately, no one replied to him.
Unfortunately, no one replies to him.
Samson decides to walk out of the sick room and find a doctor.
Sunday decides to walk out of the sick room and find the
He
doctor.
makes his way to the on-call room, but there is no one there.
He makes his way to the on-call room, but there's no one
He
there.
goes back to his sick room.
He goes back to his sick room.
Luckily, he sees a girl with long black hair.
Luckily, she sees a girl with long black hair.
He looks at her and says, "Oh, nurse, nurse, help me."
He looks at her and says, "Oh, nurse, nurse, help
The
me."
nurse takes him into the room for a checkup.
The nurse takes him into the room for a checkup.
She says, "You can't eat seafood anymore.
She says, "You can't eat
You should eat
seafood
white rice now."
anymore. You, you should eat white
Something
rice now."
eats 10 bowls of rice and takes medicine.
Something eats 10 bowls of rice and takes medicines.
His stomach then gets better.
His stomach
He
gets
sleeps
better.
and dreams about Ming-ung.
He sleeps and dreams about Ming-ung.
One, who felt terrible because of the seafood.
Something feels terrible because of seafood.
2, who has something seen. 3, who has wanted to get rid of the situation.
something wants to get rid of that
4,
situation.
who has made his way to the on-call room.
Something makes his way to the on-call room.
5, who has taken something into the room and examined.
The nurse take him into the room for
6, the nurse said you can't eat seafood anymore. You have to eat rice now.
wow.
7, what has he wanted to get rid of.
She wants to get rid of that situation.
8, where has something decided to walk out.
Something decides to walk out of the sick room.
9, who has decided to find a doctor.
Something decides to walk out of the sick room and finds the doctor.
10, where has something gone back to.
Something goes back to his sick room.
11, why has something felt terrible.
He feels terrible because of seafood.
12, has something wanted to get rid of Ming-ung.
No, he wants to get rid of that situation.
13, has Ming-ung taken something into the room for a checkup.
No, the nurse take him into the room for a checkup.
14, has something looked at the nurse and said, "Ah, nurse, nurse, help me."
Yes,
15, who has eaten 10 bowls of rice and taken medicine.
Something eat, tremble upright, and take medicines.
16. Has Ning Wong vomited many times?
No, something
17.
vomit
Who
many
has
times.
slept and dreamt about Ning Wong?
Something sleeps and dream about me.
18. What has something eaten?
He has eaten, tremble upright, and take medicines.
19. Who has something cold?